Welcome everyone to another one of our video presentations of Meet the Winemaker. We have another incredible guest today. Mike Benziger is here from Benziger Vineyards, and we are very lucky to have him.
Morning, folks.
Morning to you. Although it depends on when you see the show. It could be morning, night, but in actuality it is 9:15 Central Standard AM. You are following, by the way, and it's good to see you because I know you've been a family friend for a very long time.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. You're following some really wonderful winemakers that have sat in that very checkered, tattered, bruised stool.
I'm feeling the heat.
The pressure.
I'm feeling very honored.
The pressure. Tell us about a little bit about Benziger and what you're doing in the marketplace this trip and what's going on with you guys.
Yeah, Benziger Winery, a couple of things that we're known for is being a family business.
Right.
You know, one of the few that's left. And I think the reason why we've been successful as a family is because not only are we family owned, but the key is that we're family operated, kind of like you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we're out there every day, you know, making the wine, growing the grapes, and we're super passionate about it.
Right, I can see that, yeah.
And super enthusiastic, and we don't have any other business. I mean, I don't own a race car, and I don't own a hotel. Horses or nothing like that. This is what we do every day.
That's a Jess Jackson shout out, by the way.
No, he's a good guy, but I mean, but we're totally focused on the wine thing. Just like your business.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
And into it completely.
Is there a lot of pressure in California to be a bigger vineyard or a bigger entity, or to sell out or to take capital so you're not as family business? Because you take a lot of pride in that, yet you're, and a competitor's the wrong word, but your co-vintners have all taken the money and run, so to speak. Why stay family and why not just cash out and do own your race car and do go live in Maui and do your thing that way?
Yeah, I think, you know, the one thing that's changed in the last 10 or 15 years is the business has gone completely global.
Right.
And so that's really made it a super competitive, hyper competitive business. And it's really given corporations the edge, you know, with the leverage that they have. And,
sure.
And the one thing where the real traffic jam happens in the whole wine business is actually getting your product to market.
Right.
You know, so
as you know,
it's a bottleneck. So the bigger the corporation is, the more clout they have in getting their product to the marketplace. The littler the guy is, like me.
Yeah.
You know, the tougher it is.
Little's a relative term, by the way.
Swim upstream. I'm actually getting smaller every day because the big guys are getting bigger.
Can you talk a little bit about your organic practices and why it's important to you and your family and your company? Because I know here we have racks in all of our stores that are organic or biodynamic or whatever it is, and people clamor to them because it's not a fad. It's not a fad, it's a way. It's a way of being, it's a way of life, and we fully support that kind of movement. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. I mean, and I like the way that you put it, that it's not a fad, but it's really a way. And so when we first started farming, we farmed conventionally.
Right.
And for the first 10 years or so, and we really saw over time the impact that had on the environment. You know, over time we really ran the environment down, and to be quite honest, the wines we were producing over time were less consistent. And so it became really obvious to us we needed to go out and find a new way to do it. And we looked at different types of farming techniques like sustainable and organic. But when we came across this practice called biodynamic, it immediately grabbed us because of its ability to heal. I mean, biodynamics at the bottom line is homeopathic agriculture. And so immediately we saw the impact on the quality of the wines. And at that point, we knew we had to take this to our growers.
What does heal? Heal the land, or heal the people, or heal the wallet? What does heal mean?
Well, when you think about it, farming is kind of a violent activity.
Yes.
You tear open the land, you drive over it, you cause all this oxidation, you take a crop from it, and then you start over again the next year. You know, in conventional agriculture is a scheme that borrows from the future to increase production today. Biodynamics is a practice that builds biological capital. Yeah, but that's really what it does, and we saw the effects earlier in the century with the Dust Bowl.
Right.
And now we're seeing, the effects with climate change. And so, but the reason why we're doing it is not because it's the right thing to do, which it is, but because it is the best quality control, the best quality assurance program that you can imagine. Because every single thing that you do to take care of the environment has a direct effect on the quality of the wine.
Amazing, amazing. And as we take the Benziger wines to market here and put them in our racks around our stores, I think it's important to know that and understand that. And as you watch this video either on our Facebook page or on our website or our Twitter feed or wherever you'll see it, that's important because there are a lot of wineries, a lot of winemakers, and frankly, a lot of people that produce something that we sell that live in the moment and have no regard for down the road. And down the road's still going to happen. And if we're not, I'm not going to give a big political and social commentary here, but down the road's going to happen. And if the land isn't prepared, it's going to be a one and done.
Yeah, and really that's what family businesses are all about too. Is because we want to protect what we're doing for the future of our family.
Yeah.
Our aim is to stay in this business. We have a succession plan. We have the next generation coming in. And we feel the most important thing that we can do for our kids is to hand over to them a piece of land and a business that's healthy and vibrant, not one that's running down.
That's great.
And the bottom line is that you can taste it in the wines.
Well, to the wines.
That's the bottom line.
Got it. So to the wines, right? What we have 2 bottles here. We've got Tribute, which I'd love to hear about, and of course because we have Sauvignon Blanc, 2010 Sauvignon Blanc, and it has been in Chicago here. It's been 8 days of 80-degree weather.
Yeah.
We're going to bounce back.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it really has. Thank you for bringing that with you.
It wasn't this good in California.
No.
I'm bringing this back.
It's always like this here, by the way. But
maybe in June and July, right?
Exactly. We're a little ahead of the curve. But the Tribute, what is a Tribute? It is a special wine for sure.
Yeah. The Tribute is a tribute to my mom and dad. And who helped us get the winery started, and it's a Bordeaux blend,
right?
And it's an estate wine, all from our property up on Sonoma Mountain. And the Sonoma Mountain property is a special property because we actually farm inside of a cauldron of a volcano.
I see. Let me see this. It's 100%. Oh, okay. It's Petit Verdot, Merlot, Cab, and Cab Franc.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of the first biodynamic wines made in the United States. And so think of biodynamics as kind of the most advanced form of organic farming. Think of it as kind of organic 2.0.
Yeah.
And so instead of using chemicals and fertilizers, we use plant and animal systems with the emphasis on systems.
Right.
And the whole goal of producing a biodynamic wine would be not necessarily to make a wine that's perfect or technically true, but to produce a wine that's true and authentic to one place and to one vintage. Kind of like a liquid portrait, kind of like almost a time capsule.
Very cool.
Of what happened that particular year. Tribute is probably one of the most pure and unmanipulated wines you'll get a chance to taste because with the biodynamic practice and certification, both in the winery and in the vineyard, we can't do much. This is a completely natural wine, fermented with natural yeast, natural malolactic fermentation. For instance, instead of filtering the wine, we only move the wine on a new moon, because that's when the sediment is pulled to the bottom of the barrel. So,
on the astrological moon, the new moon.
The new moon. So by following the certain rhythms of nature, we're able to make a wine that's more true and more honest to the environment around it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I think the consumers would find it interesting. It's a wine that's very complex, but also super silky and super smooth. It's drinking awesome.
How many cases did you make?
1,000.
And
That's it.
they're in the marketplace now.
Yeah, we're just getting into the 2007 vintage because we hold it in barrel for 2 years and then we hold it in bottle for almost 2 years.
Amazing. Now, after that description, I have to kind of give it a roll. I have to. I wasn't planning on it, but I will.
Okay, you're listening to all my jabbering.
Oh, no worries. You're not the first guy to jabber in the school. So we're gonna wrap it soon, immediately. But I want to ask a couple fun questions because everyone that sits in the seat, we do that too. So you're in. One of our first questions is, and you probably have for sure have an answer for this because Rosemary Cakebread did not. What is your favorite superhero?
Oh shoot! I'll tell you what. My favorite superheroes right now are my family.
Okay, yeah.
I hate to say it, but
hence the tribute, I suppose.
I'm so lucky. I come to work and work with 7 brothers and sisters every day.
Look at you.
And we've been doing it for 30 years. And the fact that we can all work together with a single goal in mind, I mean, makes those guys my heroes. They're there every day, giving it their all.
Great,
So,
that's a fair answer.
yeah.
That's better than Batman, I suppose.
Yeah.
Your
Might sound contrite, but that's
No, listen. If it's from the
That's it for
heart,
me.
I don't know how it sounds contrite. Tell me your favorite place to visit outside of California.
You know what? I've taken a couple of trips recently. To every year I take a month off and visit wine country.
Who doesn't, really?
And this past May, I traveled to France with a small group that was led by a geologist.
Oh, that sounds cool.
And we went into Burgundy and Bordeaux, and we dug pits into the ground. We went and we studied the geology like nobody else has a chance really to do.
Right.
And really got under the skin of this whole idea of terroir and how that is related to flavors and textures in wine.
Well,
So that was an awesome trip and for me. But other than the wine business, before that I had incredible trips to India
right.
and then to a small country called Bhutan,
Sure.
which was a life-changing event for me.
You seem very spiritual. You seem very, I don't know if Taoist is the right, but you seem very in tune with the nature and the moons and how it all works
Yeah.
together.
I think if the more time that you spend out in nature, the more in awe that you feel of it, and the more that you have a perspective of what your place is in nature.
How small your place is.
Man
in
is
nature.
not in charge.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Nature always bats last. And as far as I know, she's batting 1,000.
Yeah. Nature does bat last. While you're in Chicago, where do you love to eat? You've been here enough times to have some favorite restaurants.
I actually haven't been here enough times to have any favorite restaurants because every time I'm here, I'm doing a restaurant event.
Okay.
Yeah, so I really haven't had a chance to go out and really sample the restaurants like I should. I get to sell to them, but I don't get to eat there. One thing I have to say is that Chicago has one of the most vibrant restaurant scenes that I've seen, and more than almost any area of the country, they really get this farm to table aspect.
Yeah.
More than, because you're out here in the Midwest and you've got farm country all around.
Correct.
And for me, being a winery that focuses on organics and biodynamics, coming here is awesome because you guys get it.
Yeah.
Your chefs get it, and they're out there foraging for product and and for things that are unusual and fresh and healthy. It's a great scene here.
Well, depending on where you're watching from, Chicago's got a great farm to table movement, and there's I probably can name off the top of my head 10 restaurants that go right from the farm right to the table, and those restaurants are not little dinky 5-table joints. These are 30, 40 table restaurants that are in the hustle and bustle of Rush Street and Erie and Superior and River North and all these areas where people want this great food, and there are lines and lines and lines to get into these places. These chefs are not only they're part chef, they're part farmer, they're part matchmaker between the ground and the palate, and it's really an interesting movement to your point, and it kind of speaks to everything we're talking about today, which is really interesting how we kind of bring it full circle. I guess final question, which is the easiest one to answer.
I hope
Easiest
so.
one. Your favorite wine store in Chicago?
My favorite wine store in Chicago is, without a doubt, is Evolution.
God bless you.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is incredible. I mean, you guys have a great thing going here.
Thank you.
And your family has been an awesome
that's very
inspiration in this market.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
And
so-
thank you for coming this morning.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, and thanks to your customers and the folks listening to this. I really appreciate it. And really, I thank you for giving me a chance to tell my story.
Oh, it's great. Thank you.
Ryan, thanks, man.
Take care.
Yeah.